Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good morning and a good day. So today, this will be a tutorial video, I think so, to how to create a test using Google Form. Because there's a lot of the technicalities that we need to do. So, so first of all, first and foremost, make sure that you are using your Delima MOE account, because what we're going to do is we're going to restrict the students to only use their MOE account when they are answering questions in the exam, so that we don't get other emails and they're not linked with their account as well as in the Google Classroom later on. Okay, so this is not an exact format of any test or whatsoever. This is just like mostly it's just a demo lah. Okay, it's just a demo. Okay, so first of all, we start with clicking a blank form, right? So once you have a blank form, this comes up. Okay, so here is the title. You can change the title here. So I'm going to change the title here to demo. All right, so maybe you can put the title, let's say English, because I'm teaching English. So English form what, or English year what, depending on the class or whatsoever. Okay, and it's best to do don't do a singular form for the whole form or for the whole year. Okay, like you have one form of exam for all of year form 5. That is not a good idea, because later on the teachers who are teaching those class, they cannot, all of them will have to share that same data from the same form, so it will be a bit tedious. So what you do is that you will replicate. Okay, you will replicate and you will import. Okay, so I will get to that later. Okay, so first of all, we got this done, so we need to go to the settings wheel right here. Okay, so there's a couple of things that we need to tick around this section. So first of all, collect email address. This depends on your school whether you want to collect email addresses or not. Okay, so they will collect the email address based on the account that they are that they have logged in when they are answering the question. So considering that we are using MOE account, so we don't need to use this actually, because we will get their email addresses later on in the GC. But what we need to do is restrict the users in Ministry of Education in Malaysia and its trusted organizations only. So students, when they are answering, okay, click here. Oh, sorry. They will only have to answer when they are logged in using the MOE account. So if your students have not been using their MOE account all this while when they are accessing GC or whatsoever, it's going to be a bigger problem. But they're supposed to, right? So they're supposed to, so there shouldn't be a problem. Limit to one response per student. Okay, so this will require them to sign in to MOE. Make sure you tick this so that they don't fill in the test multiple times. Even if they did, they won't use the same account, so it doesn't matter. Okay, alright. Student can edit after submit. Nope. See summary chart after text. No need. Okay. And then you go to presentation, show progress bar, shuffle question order. I don't think so. You need to shuffle the questions order because we need to follow by the format. And you can show a progress bar, which means that when they move from one section to the other section, yes, we're going to do section by section according to the paper. So when they move from section to section, so they'll know that how many percentage they have done. Okay. And then the confirmation message for the end, you can write that down. Okay, the response is Mercado or not. And for myself, I don't think it's that relevant anyways. And then you go to quizzes. Okay, so this is the most important part because we're going to assign marks for them. So you have to click and make sure that you make this into a quiz. Okay. Now here's the funny thing, and it's not a funny thing. It's an important thing actually. You need to make sure that it is done in log mode. Okay. And what does it do is that they're not, as it's written here, they're not allowed to open tabs or other application while taking the quiz. So this must be explained to the students before they answer the quiz, which means they have to go like a simulation or maybe like a guide before they answer the actual question. So what they have to do is that when they are turning on the laptop or their PC, when they are answering the question, they are not allowed to open any other windows. And if they open Google Chrome or whatsoever the internet that they're using, the browser that they're using, they cannot open multiple tabs like I have right here. They can only open one tab, that is the form tab, that's all. So this will ensure that they do not cheat, they do not search for answers or whatsoever, they don't do that. Okay? Alright. Releasing grade, do not click this, make sure it's later, because if you click this, then students will see the answers after the exam, unless you want it to be like that lah. So if you ask me, don't, because parents will see. But just keep it later, because there are some sections in the exam, especially for subjective questions, you might need to double check and give marks later on. We will go through that later. Respondents can see missed questions. What is missed questions? Let's see here. Identify which questions were answered incorrectly, so we don't need that. Okay, correct answers, don't need that. And points and value also, we don't need that, because all of this will show the students their answers are correct or not. Okay, even after the exam, so we don't need them to know later on. We want them to know later. Okay, later when we have marked. That is for me lah. Save this. All right. Okay. All done. Okay, all of this is done. So just a point to know, later on when you are doing the exam, let's say you're monitoring and then you ask your students, okay, log in to your MOE account, open the Chrome, open the form, and suddenly some students messages you and say, teacher, I cannot open. Alright, ask that student to check whether he or she are using MOE account or not, number one. Number two, make sure that they are they have all of this tab closed and they have not opened any other windows. Now this might be a little bit tricky because sometimes depends on the PC, depending on the laptop. Okay, but later we will do a demo on this. There might be some issues. So let's say if, like, worst case scenario, there's like this, the student keeps saying no, cannot, and they have done everything and you've double checked with them and still they cannot do it. If that's the worst case scenario, then all you have to do is just remove this. Go to your settings section and you remove this. Okay, all right, sorry about that, that was my phone, give me a minute. Okay, so let's go. So let's jump straight into the question making. Okay, now so this right here is the title or heading section, right? So you'll be using this a couple of times, okay, for different sections in the exam. So up here you can write the title of the exam. Let's say I'm going to write English, okay, all right, and then you can put form or what year is it, and you can even put the class name. So the students, when they get in and they know what class. The form description down here, you can put in the instructions. Okay, answer all questions. All right, blah 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 blah, whatever. All right, you can write it down there. And the first part here, okay, we're going to change it into short answer. All right, because we want students to input their name, and it's crucial for them to know to write full name. Right? Not for anything, because we will get their data later in the Google Classroom, if we are assigning them through Google Classroom, it shouldn't be a big deal, but just so that later on when you download the Excel format of the responses, they will have the full name there, so easier to identify that. If not, then you can only see their emails. We do not know who they are. All right, so write the full name down here, and then make sure it's required. Okay, you don't need to give any marks for down this section, and then you go to the next section, and then just write down here class. Now, what's the point of this is that for me, is because once you have once all of them have done, you can check the response and see whether the students are writing the correct class or not. Not that they do not know. I mean, you have already assigned this particular form to each class, but then if you're doing multiple class, then this you have to do this. Okay, if you're doing multiple class in one form, then you have to do this. There are some pros and cons. Okay. Because it's not like you can sort them according to the class, you see, unless you are assigning them to each class differently, then that's a different thing. We will look at that later, but you can either do it individually means according to class. For each class they have one form, or you can have all of your classes in one form, but don't do the whole year in one form, because teacher accessing will be a huge issue there. So make sure you have the class down here. You can either put short answer, or you can put it drop down. If you have drop down, maybe you have like 3 classes that you're teaching, so you can put all the 3 classes down there. So let's say 5A, and then 5B or 5C. Okay, or preferably, just to double check which class are they from, just use short answer. Okay, no need to put an answer key for point here. Just make sure that it's required, and then proceed to adding another section. So why you add another section is because you want to separate this part from the question part. So you can go to the question part. So you can start with section A, for example, and then you can give another instruction here: answer all questions. Okay, yada yada yada, something like that. All right, this is the section button, add section, and then you go here, you can add a question. Okay, now okay, so you want to start with add question. So we're going to see the first type, which is multiple choice. Okay, so here you will write your question. So I have here let's see, this is a normal objective questions right here. Yeah? So what you can do is that you can just type it out like that. Okay, you can type it out, and then you will need a lot of things. That you can just type it out and type the answers. It's not a big deal. But let's say if I want to use this picture right here. Okay, I want to use objective questions that have pictures, and it's better for you to do in picture format, even if you're doing this kind of question, okay, which doesn't have any pictures. But it's best for you to have it as a picture, because when you have it as a picture, students cannot copy and paste the question. You see, who knows, maybe one of your students is a hacker or something like that. Okay, so they cannot copy from the question. Usually it's like that. Like university level questions usually are like that. But then the point of using pictures is basically to make your job easier, because you don't need to type a lot of things. For example, like this is the question. Okay, it's like a lot of things to type there, so you don't need to type it down. So what you can do is, okay, if it's in PDF format, you can just grab this, copy image. How do you save images? It's very easy. You use PowerPoint. Okay, you use PowerPoint. Right. I'm just gonna paste it down here like this. Okay. So let's say this is not a good picture, but make sure when you're using it, for example, make sure that the picture that you're using is quite good. So let's say this is the picture. So what I do is that I will save it. Let's say I'm just gonna save it. Okay. All right. But I won't save it as PowerPoint. I will save it as JPEG. if let's say you are preparing for the whole exam, okay, so maybe that you have like 10 questions, so what you can do is that you can crop all of those pictures and set it up in your PowerPoint, and then for each slide you have one picture, and then you can just save it all in one slide, and then in the folder it will appear another folder. Inside that folder there will be all the pictures of each slide, but since this one I'm just gonna just do one. Okay, so done. So I'm gonna go here, okay, then I'm gonna open my folder down here. See, this one is the picture. So oops, so I'm gonna drag this down, or you can click browse, doesn't matter. Okay, so this is the picture. I haven't typed the question yet. Right, so here we have multiple questions, we have the picture, we have the question up here. So now we're going to put in the options. So let's see, the first option is, okay, A, or maybe I think you can click here. There you go, add all. All right, okay, so all done. So this will be a question, and then you click, make sure you click required, okay, and then okay, let's see, you click answer key, all right, and you click lock the doors, and you assign the point up here whether you want it to be 1 point or 2 points. Okay, so done, all done. So I'm going to put here 2 marks. Okay, so 2 points. All right, answer key here, there's the answer. All right, so this is for multiple choice. All right, pretty simple. So it's quite straightforward. So make sure that you always click the required part, so students will answer all the questions. Okay, so there won't be any case where students do not answer any question. Right, so if you have students who like to leave questions blank, yeah, they're gonna have a lot of problems with that. Okay, so let's say I've done with all my multiple questions. Okay, maybe this section done, so I'm going to go to the next section. So I will click add section. Right, so again, okay, so let's say if you do not have in PDF format or in Word, if you have it in Word, okay, let's say if you have something in Word, I do not have something in Word. If you have something in Word, okay, let's say you have the picture of the question in Word, and you want to transfer it as a picture. Okay, you want to save it as a picture so that you can upload here. So what you do is that you copy the whole thing into PowerPoint, and then you save it as a picture. Okay, so then you can upload the picture here. If you already have a picture, okay, let's say I'm gonna save this thing as a picture straight away. Okay, all right. I say you already have this thing as a picture. Where is the folder? Okay, let's just save here. Okay, let's minimize this, and let's say I have it here in the picture format, but I need to crop it. So just crop it. Okay, so I'm giving you multiple scenarios. Okay, crop it. You can either use any kind of software also, okay, and depending on your computer. Like mine, I'm using Photos, because when I use Photos I can crop and straighten. Just let's say like this question, you can see right here, but I don't need to straighten here. Okay, so I will save a copy. Okay, if let's say the picture is a bit blur or whatever, you can edit it a bit. Okay, you can edit using filters adjustment, depending on what software you have lah. Okay, but make sure the picture is in good quality, because when you upload it, students need to be able to see it. Okay, so I have this picture, but I need another picture as well. Now this section right here, let's say you have this text, okay, or maybe you have long text. You don't need to write the whole text down. You can use the text as a picture as well. Okay, you don't need to write it down somewhere and everything. Just use it as a picture. Okay, it's easy. Right, done. Okay, so now what we do is that, so for section B, so before we add the questions down here, let's say section B is all about that particular question using that particular picture or that particular text, or depending on whatever lah. So you don't add questions, you add an image straight away. Okay. What was it? I use this one. Temperature. Okay, so I add the image first. Okay. There you go. All right. Okay. And then you can even add title. So the title here you can add, like, maybe you have further instruction. You can put it there. Study the picture or whatever. Okay. If let's say the picture is not enough, you need to add more pictures. Go ahead, add more pictures. Like myself right now, I need to add another picture because I do not want to type the whole thing. So I'm writing it down. I'm putting it. So let's say like this. Okay. So here is the section. So what you do for questions? Okay, let's see here, number 1. So you just type 1 and then you provide the options. Okay. So Macho is Ahmad's house cat. He has fluffy. What you can add the options. If let's say you do not want to do it in multiple choices, you want to do it as a short answer, just change it as a short answer, put it like that, and then make sure it's required and go to the answer key. Right, so here, okay, I'm going to assign the marks to, you're going to write the correct answer here. Okay, but when you're writing the correct answer, depends on the question. Let's say this question is very strict. The scheme is very strict. Okay, even minor errors are considered will make the answer wrong lah. Okay, let's say like that lah. Okay, black. Okay, so let's say the answer is black. Okay, if let's say the answer is very strict, let's say black must be small letters, all small letters, cannot be capital letters, that is okay, it's easier for you. Okay, but assume that the students might accidentally press space. Okay, and also assume that students might not press space. Also assume students might put full stop, depending on the question. If right here I would need to add full stop. Let's say the question ends with a full stop, and let's say your scheme accepts answer with or without full stop. So you have to consider the possibilities. Okay, you have to consider the possibilities of what kind of answer, what kind of error that students might make. Okay, so it's a bit tedious there, but don't worry about it. Okay, we have a way to deal with that. Okay, and again, it's not that easy, but still we have a way to deal with that. So you have here like this. Okay, all right. So if let's say your question is strict, I'm saying like it is only restricted to these answers only, then it's no problem. So you can just fix it like that because there aren't any other errors that you can do. Oh yeah, maybe one more, space and then black. Okay, usually the space part before and after usually we do like that, but you have to do separate. You have to do black without space, black with space, space after black, and black with space before. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Here we have black, here we have black with space, okay, and then here we have black with full stop, here we have space with black. Alright, so just in case, let's say students when they're answering, dorang tertekan space and then they press black. So because kalau dorang, if you don't put that, then let's say if they press space and then they write black, answer is correct, but it will register as wrong. Okay, so this is a very strict answer scheme, restricted to this. Okay, you can click mark all others incorrect if it's restricted to this. Assign the point and done. Okay, let's say we create a different question. Okay, usually the Form 3 and the Form 5 formats, they have a bit of flexibility in their answers, usually on certain sections. So you're going to add questions right here. Okay, so let's say let's imagine that number 2 is a bit flexible. Okay, put short answer, required. Did I put required here? Yes, I did. Okay, so we go to answer key. So let's say we're gonna write here fish and milk. All right. So we can put fish and milk. Okay, space. No need space. Okay, first one no need space for fish and milk. Second one we put fish and milk space. Third one we put space fish and milk. All right, and then after that we can put milk and fish, and then we put space milk and fish, and then we put milk and fish space. Let's imagine that there are other answers that can be accepted, okay, but you have not thought about it yet. Maybe it's not in the scheme, but you might accept an answer that is, considerably maybe correct. Okay, so we do not want the form to immediately dismiss a student's answer because it might be correct even though it's not part of the scheme. So what you do is that you uncheck this, so you don't click this. Okay, because when you don't click this, what will happen is that after the student's answer, the form will register this question. Let's say the student answer something that is not part of the scheme, but it is correct, let's say. Okay, so what happens is the form will register the answer as wrong, but will not point out 0 for the students. It will leave the marks as empty because you will have to review that and give the marks yourself. Get it? We will look at it later. If it's very confusing, we'll look at it later. Okay, so assign the mark. Let's say I'm going to assign 2. Okay, and it's done. There you go. Okay. All right. So this is for short answer. Flexibility. This is short answer with accepting other answers. This one is short answer that doesn't accept other answers. Okay. So let's say we're going to try a different type of question. All right. Okay. So let's say I'm gonna do a question right here. Okay. Let's just create a question. Okay. Maybe like I'm gonna type, he enjoys playing with Kiki. Space. Friend. Right? And what you want is you want students to choose. Okay, drop down. This is very convenient for the Form 3 and Form 5 paper, the part where they have to select the sentence that have been taken away from the text, and they have to choose which sentence goes to which box. That part is a bit it's more suitable for this thing. Okay, so what you can do is you can put it, I can put drop down, and I can put option 1 is worst, option 2 is best, let's say mice. Okay, I'm just doing that. So what will happen is students will answer by choosing between the drop down answers and choosing which one. Okay, required, answer key, 2 points, and then you can select which one is the correct answer, and then done. Okay, all right. So it's a bit similar to multiple choice format. It's not that much of a big deal. Now, how do you let's say, because let's say it's the same question. Okay, they have multiple questions, but the lists of the answers are the same. Okay, here you click duplicate. Okay, so we have a duplicate, and then you can write down here is like that. Just delete this. Okay, So it's required, and the answer key is the same as the one on top. Okay, so different question, same answer. So you do it by duplicating. All right, so that's done. All right, so you can see how many total points they have right there. So let's say I have 10 points right here because I have 10 questions. Okay, so all is done. All right, if you click your home screen, you can see the form there, right? So whenever a student answers, you can see the response down here because nobody has answered this one yet. So it's like that. Okay. Once you're done, you want to like do a preview, right? So you click down here. This is the eye icon. Okay, the eye icon will open a new tab. Okay. And will come out. As you see, you can't access this quiz log mode. It's already responding using managed Chromebooks can open this quiz. Alright? So you can see here because why? First and foremost, because I have all of this tab down here, so I cannot open it. Alright, so just for the sake of this test, I'm going to remove this first. Okay, refresh this page. I can open it. Okay, I have removed that temporarily, but later maybe we will re-put it for the students. Okay, so how to re-put it? Same like you go back to settings, and then you can go to presentation, quizzes, and then you can make it lot more. Okay, but I'm not going to do it now because I want to recheck. So here you have your full answer. See, this is the progress bar, and remember you have to key in, right? So I'm going to key in here. Okay, so I have to give your answer. He has, let's say I write space body. There you go. And then he loves, what is it now? Fish and milk. Okay. So just now for number 2, what I did was I unchecked to mark any other answers incorrectly, right? So let's say that you accept this answer, even though actually you will not accept this answer again. But let's say the question allows you to accept this answer because trout is a fish. Okay, all right. So I'm going to write down here. It's not in the scheme, remember? It's not in the scheme. So we will see later what happens. Just playing with Kiki. So we're going to, his best friend Kiki. It's one of the worst enemy dogs. So you drop down and then you submit. Okay? Response has been recorded. So maybe what you can do is before doing the submission, you can add another section for them to just to say thank you. Please double check your questions, because before I click submit, you realize there was a back button there, which means that before they submit, they can recheck their answers. They can go back and check their answers, you see. So maybe you can add another section here just to say thank you very much, and please double check your answers before submitting, just to remind them, because maybe students will terklik, oh siap lah, terklik, alamak tersilap, we have all that kind of issues with them, all these poor people. Okay, alright, so this is done. So once they're done, they will close it, and now we have the response down here. Okay, so let's see. So here we have in general summary. Okay, you can have this in general. So it won't be as interesting as this once you download it into a spreadsheet in Excel format. So if you want to have like a presentation, maybe like to do a DP or whatever, screenshot this data here, and then show it to anybody. If you want to print and paste in your book record or whatsoever, you can screenshot, because it looks nice, right, with the graph and everything. But aside from that, okay, so we can analyze by questions. Okay, we can have here, so you can see how many people got it right, how many people got it wrong. Okay, you can see here as well, you can see the summary of the question, so you can see how many people got it right, how many people got it wrong. Okay, so we go straight to individual. Okay, so here you can choose based on the individual. All right, since there's only one person here, so when you click it down here, see the email will be the ID for them. Okay, so there's only one email here because there's only one response. When you click it, if they have multiple emails, they have multiple response. So the problem right now is you have the email, but you do not know who the students are. That's why you have the name here. All right, and leceh lah kan nak tengok email siapa ni nak menanda. Okay, don't worry about that, because once we assign this to the class, to the GC of the class, the data from here will be absorbed into your GC as the grade. So you don't need to worry about the grade. Okay. What you need to worry about is this part. You see? Okay, so right here, this is a strict scheme, right? Answer that is not according to the scheme is straight away wrong, straight away 0, because we click mark. Remember that part where we click mark other answers as incorrect, so we tick that box. So this is 0 because of that. Here we did not tick the box, so the answer is different from the scheme. It registers as wrong, but it did not provide any mark. So what you can do is you can give mark. Save. Okay, so the edits are saved. There you go. So the marks are awarded, even though it is wrong, and it will change it into correct. Okay, all done. All right, so now this is done. Okay, so let's say the teacher who is making the questions have completed this the form. All right. So what you do is that you want to send this form to other people, right? You want to share it with other people. So what you do is you can take this part. Okay. Not this part. Sorry. You open the form. Okay. You reopen the form. Now the form will be in your Google Drive. Okay. So you reopen the form. And then you can go to here, this 3 button here, and then you can add collaborators. Okay, so what happens here is this form will be a stock form. Okay, so this form will be a stock form. You don't assign it to your class yet. Okay, you don't assign to your class yet. So let's say I want to share it with somebody, so I can share it with a link. So you want people to either they can only people added can open with this link, okay, or you want them to edit, okay, depending on what kind of restriction you want to give, okay. Anyone with the link, anyone on the internet with the link can edit, ataupun restricted. Only people added can open with this link. But if you're using link, so anyone with the link lah, okay. So I've added this one. Okay, edited, yes. Okay. All right. So send. Okay. Sure. Anyway. Okay. So you can use WhatsApp to share the link, and once they open the link in their device, it will automatically be opened there. It's just that in my device right now, because I have both account in my device. Okay, so when I keep opening the form, it keep registering into the MOE device, you see. All right, so now let's open that device. Let's open that account. Okay, right down here, this is the other account. So you can see where is it? Yeah, there it is. Okay, so that is the form that I shared between my MOE account with my personal account. You can even see here, right here, there's an icon of shared icon there. Okay, so now what to do? You are not, once you have the form shared with you, you are not to edit anything from that form, because once you edit anything from that form, because this is not your form, you see, this is something that is shared with you, which means this is from here, from this account, from the MOE account. So any changes that you do, okay, you as a person that they shared this with you, any changes that you do will affect the original form. So how to use this? Okay, remember I said that if possible, try to do a separate one only for you and your class. Okay, so what you do is that you open a blank. Okay, you open a blank form. This is for the person yang they receive the share link. Okay, so you open a blank. You already opened the form in your account, kan? So the form is there. So you open one blank. Okay, you give a title. Okay, demo 2. Okay, for my class. Okay, I'm just typing it like that. Okay, give it the title. Okay, delete this question. All right, so this one will be here. Okay, you cannot delete this because it's the only thing there. Go here, import questions. Okay, so you click import questions, and then you click the demo here. You'll find it here. Okay, because it was shared with you, so you will find it there. Click this, select. Okay, it will come up like this. Select all, import all. Once you've done that, the whole thing will come down here. So you have this added because this is a new form you did then. So you just delete this one. Just delete this section so you have it like that. Okay, so it's a similar thing. Okay, similar, exactly similar, but a different form. So you can change that. You can make demo for, maybe you can put the class name here, demo for 3 awesome. Now I got it right. You can change this to 3 awesome. Okay, and just the last bit that I recommended adding another section for the end part before they submit, to remind them to double check. That's all. Okay, so everything is the same. So now any edits that you do here will not affect the main file in this account. Okay, because this is a separate form, and any responses that is recorded here, any responses that are recorded here, will not be in the original form, which means that you can use this to send to your student. You see the response here is empty, right? Because nobody answered this one. This is a separate form. So, okay, so let's say I'm gonna open a GC. So I have this demo class, okay? So I'm gonna click classwork. Okay, I'm gonna go create. Right, I'm gonna go to assignment. Oh yeah, before that, sorry. Even the teacher who did the paper kan, the original teacher yang create the paper tu, when you want to give it to your student, don't give the original form tau, because orang lain pun share juga kan, so we do not want the original form to be disturbed. So you create a blank. Okay, in your MOE, alright, you create a blank actual exam. Alright, delete this. Import question. Demo, select all, import question. Delete section. There you go. Okay, so you have it there. Same one. So once you've done this, so you have, this one is the original one that you created, that you shared with people. This one is only for you, because kalau you use this to send to your class, what happen is that the data semua masuk ke sini, shared, you know. So if anybody delete ke apa ke, it will affect your paper nanti kan. So don't do that. Okay, so this one biar jadi stock untuk share dengan semua orang, for everybody to copy and import question. That's all. For your own one, you do it like this. You do it in a separate form to be safe. Okay, go back to your GC, to our GC just now. Then you add here, go to Google Drive, and you select your form that you want. Okay, so we have here actual exam. Okay, so now let's say you have okay, so you can have your lock mode on Chromebook, so you can tick that. Okay, but for this demonstration purpose, I'm not going to tick that, because I'm going to open it in my phone, and my phone has a lot of tabs. So I'm just going to close it here first. Okay, but later when you do your exam, you please make sure you do that lah. Okay, so then you can assign. Okay, alright. Oh yeah, great importing. Did I click that? Yeah, grade importing. Okay, so make sure it's grade importing, so that it imports the grade from the Google form into your Google Classroom. Okay, so done. Okay, so I use another account to access it, and answered the question. So now if you look here, let's say if this is your class, so you have one turn in already. Okay, and from the other account I checked that they cannot check their marks. Okay, and they cannot resend lah. So you can go to your work. Let's see. Okay, so this is my brother just now, he answered this one. So marks is still not given here, right? Okay, why is that? It's because it's because here you go here to your actual exam, we have a section where we need to provide the marks, remember? Yes, this part, remember? Okay, so you go to your responses, so you have one response here. Okay, so you can go to individual, all right, and then you can go down here. So I'm not accepting this answer, so I'm going to give it 0. Save. Okay, all right, so done. Here you go. Okay, all done, right? Okay, another part is we can also turn off the exam once the time is over. So you can click this by not accepting any more responses. Let's say you set how many hours, and after that you go to the response section and you can just click not accepting responses at the moment. Okay, so you can just release the score, and so all respondents send emails and release. Okay, sorry, yeah, I forgot, because I rarely use this actually for my exams. So okay, here you should click import grades. So once that's done, you can release the score. Where is it? Okay, you can release the score, so they will get individual emails. Okay, you can release the score, and then once you have released the score, you can import the grades, or maybe you can import the grades before you release the score also, it doesn't matter. So once you have import the grades, then you can have all of the marks here. Okay, so let's say this student, he got 6 out of 10, which is similar to this, if I'm mistaken. Let's see. Yep, 6 out of 10. Okay, it's done. Yeah, I think that's it. Nothing else to do. Yeah, I guess that's all. Whoa, sorry. Okay, so that's the end of the session. It's been a very long session, about an hour and a plus. Hope this helps, and if there's any issue, then if you know me, then you can contact me. Then if you do not know me, then Google, I guess. Alright, thank you so much. Alright, bye, see you later.